Hey, hi, hello. So the other day, my intuition whispered something to me, like whispered, not yelled or threw a shoe at my head or set off the internal fire alarm. Just a gentle, hey, maybe don't do that. And I actually heard it, which is wild for me because for a long time, my intuition didn't whisper. It screamed, like a toddler in Walmart who wanted a toy right now. It had to. And even then, I still ignored it a lot of the time. So today we're talking about intuition, specifically how mine went from being a full volume emergency siren to the calm, reliable little voice that I can actually hear now. So let's rewind. For 15 years, my intuition had to fight through a lot: noise, chaos, survival mode, and yeah, meth off and on for a long time. When you're living like that, intuition doesn't quite disappear. It just has to work overtime. It's like, hey, Ruby, don't do that. Oh my God, don't do that. um, yeah, usually I would just kind of like push that to the side. If intuition had a personality back then, it would have been just fed up, exhausted, tired of being friends with me, sitting in the corner like, I am doing my best, but I cannot save you from yourself. And you know what? I can admit now that I wasn't broken, even though I felt that way for a long time. I was surviving, and my nervous system wasn't ignoring my intuition. It was simply overwhelmed. Let me tell you about the moment my intuition went from kind of annoying to life-changing. It was the morning of May 18th, 2017. My intuition was screaming at me, like full body, loud, dramatic. Lock the gate, lock the gate, lock the gate. Ruby, lock the gate. But I was tired. I had a 3-year-old. I was exhausted in that way that only parents and people in survival mode understand. So I didn't lock it. I took her inside, put us both in my bed, and then I was knocked out. The next thing I knew, I heard a voice in my doorway, in my front doorway, yelling, asking if anyone was home. And it was the police. My baby had gotten out of the house and was running around the neighborhood. She was unhurt, thank God, but I lost custody of all 3 of my kids that day. So here's the part that's hard and weird, but true. Ignoring my intuition that morning did more good than harm because losing my kids was the only thing big enough, painful enough, shocking enough to make me stop, look at my life, and finally say, I can't keep doing this. So it took me a year and a half to get them back. And during that time, I ignored my intuition some more because I'm hard headed. And that's what happens when you're hurting and ashamed and trying to survive. But eventually, I listened. I went to treatment. I got clean. I've been clean for over 8 years now. So, yeah, intuition is powerful. But sometimes the moment you ignore it becomes the moment that saves your life. After that, early recovery intuition was still a hot mess. Sometimes my intuition said run, and my anxiety said sprint, and I listened to the wrong one. Sometimes I trusted a gut feeling that was just anxiety. Sometimes I ignored a gut feeling that turned out to be wisdom. I was basically rebooting my internal software with no manual. Now, let's talk about culture. Because even once my intuition started working again, I had to unlearn all the messages that told me to ignore it. Like if I had a feeling that I should leave, sometimes I stayed, sometimes I bolted. Um, Regardless of how I handled it, it was usually not what I felt was the right way to handle it. A lot of the time our intuition says leave, but our cultural programming says be polite. Sometimes our body says we're in danger, and other people are telling us that things are okay. And in a lot of marginalized communities, we override intuition for harmony, respectability, or safety. We're taught to keep the peace even when our body is screaming. So part of rebuilding my intuition wasn't just recovery. It was unlearning cultural rules, working through trauma and certain trauma responses. And it's honestly, it's an ongoing process. So here's another story time. Um, there was this moment in early recovery where my intuition whispered, Ruby, leave. I believe it was a party or something of the sort. Somebody had a party. I can't remember. Early recovery was very much a fog in my memory. But yeah, I didn't trust whispers yet. So instead of casually exiting like a normal person, I bolted in heels, like full speed cartoon dust cloud behind me. People turned. Someone asked if I was okay. I said, I have a feeling I should leave. And they were like, are you sure that's not just your anxiety? I thought about it and honestly, no. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure for a long time. So intuition returning can be a little messy, but it's also kind of beautiful, especially when you have people around you can trust. So here's what I've learned and what I want you to take with you. Intuition is quiet when life has been loud. It's not gone, it's just kind of buffering. Relearning intuition takes practice, not perfection. You're not supposed to get it right every time. And trial and error are part of healing, not a sign you're doing it wrong. As long as you're learning something from those quote unquote errors, you're you're making progress. 9 years ago, I couldn't hear myself. My intuition had to scream to get my attention. But now it's one of the clearest voices I have. So this week, I want you to notice one intuitive moment. Even if it's tiny, even if it's weird, even if it's awkward, especially if it's awkward. Your intuition hasn't been ghosting you. It's just warming up and waiting to be heard. So if you'd like to stay in touch, you can find me online for the show. It's Awkwardish Podcast on Instagram and Threads, Awkwardish Podcast on Facebook, and Awkwardish Pods on YouTube. And then for me, it's Awkward Rube on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Clapper. All right. I'll see you all next time.